And prosecutor and author of Why Bad Looks Good, Wendy Patrick. It really is important, the toxicology, when you talk about this whole thing, Wendy, because toxicology can give us a lot of answers.
Toxicology talks, as we say.
Yeah.
You know, right now we're worried, is it a murder or just a mystery?
Sure.
You know, we always say Lady Justice is blind. Investigators are not. They are looking for clues. They are listening. They are talking to witnesses. Some of the excellent questions, as you point out, are being raised by the family members who knew these men, who couldn't imagine three men freezing in a backyard as their friend fell asleep. So you've got cars in the front yard, decomposing bodies in the backyard, and a man that slept for 2 days and worked from home. I mean, you have to have it add up. That's criminal law 101. A defense has to make sense.
Yeah, it's exactly right. The brother of one of the victims is talking about the homeowner, Jared Willis, and when he said this, watch.
Does he know when they left or does he not? Does he know if his dogs were there? Does he not? There's way too many questions still needing to be answered. And nobody can answer those questions in honesty except for Jordan.
There's been a lot of silence, Wendy. That's the whole thing, is the families are like, look, he's maybe got answers and maybe he doesn't, but the silence is not the most beneficial thing. His lawyer says, well, you know what? He fell asleep for 48 hours after the party, and so he doesn't really have a lot of things to answer. 48 hours? I mean, I think I slept for 14 hours. 48 hours?
You may have slept for 8 hours after a night of overindulgence, not 48 hours.
Right.
And when a loved one is missing, silence is not golden. And I mean, we live on our phones, we live on social media. When somebody's over at our house, maybe we have a couple of drinks, we're going to find out the next day, did you get home okay?
Yeah.
If their cars are still parked in front of our house, that's a clue that something went amiss. And not only that, Trace, remember that one of these bodies was apparently on a porch.
Right
Outside the backyard. So it is true, he's not a suspect. Nobody wants to rush to judgment, but the questions are being asked and the family members are suggesting some of the additional questions that no doubt will be asked. You want to look at who was the last person to see them alive, and that was the host.
One of the dads said, you know, look, if they were freezing out there, that my son would have kicked open one of the windows. He was right on the porch, kicked open the door of one of the windows, something. So there's a little bit weirdness going on here. A victim's father, John Harrington, said the following here. Harrington's mother and I are both convinced that Jordan Willis, that's the homeowner, played a part in this somehow. We just haven't figured out how yet. What else could it be? Perfectly healthy men don't just drop off the face of the earth. Well, they didn't drop off the face of the earth, but they did end up in the backyard for some reason.
Well, for some reason, you know, for legally, when you're proving murder, you don't have to prove motive. But to a jury, motive matters. What would it have been here?
Yeah.
That is the biggest question everybody's asking. And my prediction is it's just a matter of time before we find an answer.
Yeah, I think you're right. Wendy, great to have you on as always.
Thanks, Trace.
Well, just ahead.